Okay. All right, everybody, welcome back. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Near Protocol, a couple others as well. I literally just threw up a nothing burger to get started here, right? So this is kind of like what I imagine most people are looking to and looking for. Before we get started here on my last Bitcoin TikTok, the posted video, I had put up a biddy box, right? So I was talking about if we lost that previous range high, which we did, which was essentially around here. We'll get that all pulled up here. That would be coming into our biddy box. And I'm going to go over what the importance of that is at this point. So if I can actually find that box. Oh, come on. Let's see here. This one? That's the one right there. Okay. So this was the biddy box, right? The other day, I will go ahead and start popping on some of these things here. So the reason that we were looking at this area here, I know this is a pretty big area, but there is actual reasoning behind it, not just a $2,000 area where it's just there's some previous support, right? So if you're in the group, Magic Internet Money covered this in great detail, basically back on last Sunday, in our members only market update. And then we've pretty much just been kind of like keeping up with it all week here so far. So coming into the weekend, it's interesting to see how everything's playing out here. We getting a little push here out of Bitcoin. And like I said, most are probably looking at this as a bear flag or an ascending channel, whatever that's, looking to break lower, maybe looking at it as a fake out at the moment. But we're going to look at the levels that are around us right now that really matter, right? So taking a peek at this, the current range that we're back in, which is what we were looking at on that last update, stating that if we broke the previous range high, which was this, right? This 44,400 basically. We came down, basically back tested it twice, right? This was our April Fool's little correction here back down 2 Thursdays ago. Came back down, back tested again, and finally broke through it. And that's when we were looking for this biddy box, right? And we've just been slowly grinding through it. Now there's a really big area of interest just right in this area right here at the bottom of this box. So now we're going to go through and kind of outline what the significance is of this box, right? Now that we're pretty much halfway through it. I'm going to go ahead and take this off here. And once again, this current price action right here, I have to imagine most are anticipating that, this would be a bear flag with a measured move coming in around, 39K, which that's not necessarily out of the question. And 39K is a very significant level, right? Very similar to our $47,000 top so far, right? This recent high. If you've been, paying attention or stopping by these live streams recently, you know that we've been looking for 47,700 for quite some time. Once again, shout out to Magic Internet Money. He's been basically, looking for that level since before the end of the last year, basically. But essentially, right, this is our yearly key level up here at 47,700. This is essentially our line in the sand that is, this is literally the one level we need to conclusively get over to start seeing upside and to see, substantial upside back to the 50s and 60s and things of that nature. It's literally just this one level, 47,700. As we came into it, once again, this is a level that, Magic Internet Money specifically has been on for months and months. And as we actually came into it, it just so happened to line up with the, 200 moving average, which, to everybody at the moment, I'm sure that's where, that's the reasoning behind it. But we've been looking for this level for literally months at this point. So it's always interesting to see how these things line up once they do come to fruition. Now, talking about 39K, just to kind of put it on the table here, right, and why that level is significant. Once again, if you were here over January to now, we were back in the same range we were in now. We've been talking about 39K for quite a time as well, because not only do we have a yearly key level up here, which is a high time frame average of price there, we do have our 2-year key level, which comes in right at about 39,800. So it's interesting to note that this bear flag would take you down there on a measured move, which I like to just add in some of these patterns with the confluence around some of these major levels, right? So once again, if we get this little slow move to the downside here, if this breaks and continues lower, right? At the end of the day, this could take another week or so to really play out. Most will probably come back to this and be like, oh, that was the bear flag, whatever. But let's really kind of dissect this whole price action with Bitcoin right now, right? Because at the moment, Bitcoin really has done something extremely bearish that, for the short term, and it can be totally, broken out of it in a sense. But at the moment, you really do have to anticipate a little bit lower still, right? So I'm going to take off this bear flag. The bear flag want to be there. And we're just going to look at the levels here. So I'm going to leave that 39K down there, right, for the 2-year key level. I'm going to throw up the rest of this range real quick, just to kind of show, where we re-entered, coming back into this range high here. We've got our point of control, which is our major volume target, our natural target there. We've got our range low right at the end of the day. So levels to be aware of, not necessarily, a sentence of saying that we're going to go there conclusively. But this is just something to be aware of, right? We're literally back in the same range that we were in for quite some time here. So I'm gonna even go ahead. I'll leave that on there for now. So this is what we're looking at, right? Your range low at this point. You do have to anticipate cycling this whole range at some point, right? That's unless we break back above it. That's pretty much the idea at the moment. We got a ton of levels in between us, but that would be the idea overall, is that we would, essentially, high probability we might cycle through this whole range once again, all the way back down to 38K. Now in the short term here, what to look for, right? If we start breaking back above this range high, right? Like this is something where, you want to start seeing 4-hour candles, really high time frame, realistically 12-hour, and realistically a daily. And then at the end of the day, getting back above this 47.7, then we're looking up again back towards those 50 and 60K levels. At this point, they're irrelevant for the moment. And what we really should be considering is unfortunately some more downside at the moment, right? And once again, it's just what to be aware of. So this is our range. Once again, that we've traveled within this range for months, right? January 5th, we pretty much entered it. We cycled it 2 or 3 times, throughout. Had that break. We were literally looking for this one major level to be, claimed. Could not happen. So, and then we re-entered this range, and not only re-entered this range just on, a couple wicks or a couple 4-hour candles. We've been closing dailies in here. So that's, just as we want to see daily candles closed above, closing dailies back inside here is pretty much confirming we're going to live in, we're living in here already, right? So just something to just be aware of, right? Not trying to induce any fear or anything like that, but this is just, what we're anticipating at the moment. So that's the range. Now I'm going to clear off this range and kind of talk about this bitty box, because there are 4 levels in that box that are of interest, right? So the reason that we were looking for those, and once again, in our members only market update last week with Magic, he went over pretty in depth and in detail. And anybody that didn't see that, you can find that in the Discord under our live recordings from Sunday. So like I said, he went over pretty in depth there. We went over all coins. We went over the pullbacks coming in for across the board, everything like that. But to kind of continue on here, I'm going to clear off this range high for now. All right, we're gonna leave on the yearly key level. We'll leave on our 2-year, and for now we'll just kind of knock off the range high and low for here. This point of control is our major volume target at the moment. So this is our natural target. Once you re-enter a range, or once you enter a range, that natural born target is going to be that point of control. So at some point, I would imagine we're going to come down to here, right? And it's right at 42K. It's everybody's, big rounded number that they'll be looking for, which, it also has a ton of, why behind it, why this would, be an area that come down and tag. And sorry, I'm trying not to get too bamboozled here, right? So now talking on this bitty box, right? The one that I'd posted up recently, and why it had so much significance at the time. We broke that range, so this is where we were looking to come down into. You'll note that the point of control comes in right at the bottom of this box, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off there. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this here, and then this is really what is inside of this box that we're looking for, right? So there's several levels here, one of which we've come down to already. This was a weekly NPOC, right, that we already came down and tagged, possible little double bottom there, right? I know that's what many are maybe looking at the moment. This was actually our second target, however, because we had a monthly key level that was untapped at the moment, right? So we already came down and tagged that one too. And we're just literally just getting a bounce and a possible rejection from this area once again, right? So anybody that's looking at this as that bear flag, you could be looking at it as possible bearish retest, whatever the case is. Once again, I like to really line up the pattern that is in play with the levels that we're looking at, because most people are not aware of these levels at all. Not aware of where the range high is, the range low, any of these key levels coming into play. And to the naked eye here, right, if we just get this rejection at this, basically this monthly key level right here, it just looked like we broke out of this bear flag, bearish retest, and continued lower. So why would we be looking lower still, right? So we still haven't come into our point of control, which is down here at the bottom, we know. We've got two of our targets already met, okay, from our biddy box. And right, so this doom box here, top level was made up of that monthly key level. We had a weekly naked point of control as the next target. We've got another level coming in right below it, and then we have the bottom, which was is the point of control for the overall range. But this is also a naked point of control as well. So these are not back tested levels that tend to get back tested based on volume. So yeah, so coming down to this that 42K level is pretty probable at the moment, at least, right? Nothing's guaranteed, of course, but this is what I'd be looking at, especially if we catch another rejection at this monthly key level up here. So quite simply, right, we got these next two. Oops. These two levels down here are the next ones that I'd be looking for us to come down to, and I would imagine we get a significant reaction at this one. A lot of support would come in here. I think that a lot of people would be looking to buy, and it's not necessarily that exact level that I'm looking for. It's pretty much the area. Like I said, you got a major NPOC here. You've got the overall range point of control coming in here. You also got the golden pocket from this recent move down here. I'm sorry, recent move up, basically. Right, so you can see how that aligns right there with the 0.618 forms in there as well. Right now, we're basically basing off the 0.5. So a lot of things just kind of line up with that 42K area, 41, 42. And then at the end of the day, if we, really get crazy, cycling the whole range is still in the cards. So I would imagine that this area is going to offer up some decent, if we don't get any kind of like support rally at all, I would imagine that this area would be an area where we kind of come down, get a bounce from, have to pay attention at that point. Realistically, at any of these levels here, if we start coming back down and taking out this range, it's very possible that we, turn around from there, right? So just at the moment, this is just, it's more likely that we're going to come down and clear these two levels at least. And one of those main reasons being that that's the point of control for this overall range that we re-entered basically the other day. So, okay. So yeah, I see a bunch of people kind of coming at the moment. So I'll kind of reiterate what I was just going over there. On my last Bitcoin update posted here on Twitter, on TikTok, we were looking for a couple things here, right? So if you've been at any of the recent live streams over the last like 2 and 3 months while we were basically ranging within this area, one big area that we were looking for was going to be this yearly key level, right? 47,700. Essentially, this is our major line in the sand for continuation to the upside. We clear this level on a conclusive closing basis, meaning daily candle is really what you'd like to see. We're more than likely going back to 60K at that point, right? Until that happens, though, we are still just basically ranging around in this area here. One of the most, at least short term, right, one of the most bearish things that Bitcoin could do at this point was to re-enter this previous range down here, because at this point we were in a new range. 46K was the new range low. 49K was our point of control. We had 50K was our range high, right? This was our new range up in this region, and we had our yearly key level in the middle of it. Similar to how in this current range, right, we've got our 2-year key level down here, point of control, whatever. You got some levels in between here. But essentially the range that we're working on right now, we re-entered and we closed a daily candle back inside here. So not what you really want to see, right? So just very similar to how we want to see daily candles closing up above these areas. That's what we got to the downside here, right? You got lower lows coming in, lower highs. So, essentially we're in a downtrend at the moment, obviously, at this point. And like I said, the last update, we were about this area here. We were looking to see if we broke through and broke back into this range high. What we were looking for, the biddy box is what I called it, right? And I'll just kind of go over, the reasoning behind that once again. So this area right here was the area that we were looking for. And once again, if you're in the Leading Crypto Discord server, we went over this really, really in detail on Sunday night. Magic Internet Money, the other analyst in there, covered it very, very well. That was at the time, I think, when we were still in this region before we even started coming down. But there's 4 levels in here that really have our attention at the moment, and we left them basically as we kind of climbed out of here. And now at this point, I can't imagine we're not going to come back and at least fill this one right here. So for now, I'm going to kind of go over what is in this box, right? So the top level here, we'll go ahead and close this out, was our monthly key level, right? So this was our first area we came down to when we finally broke the range high the other day. Got a little reaction out of it, but not much. Lost it, and basically have been struggling at this monthly key level ever since, right? Rejection after rejection after rejection. This is also basically our weekly range in this area. I'm not going to bring it up, and it's going to be too confusing. But regardless, this level right here is what I'd be looking for, as a starting move here to kind of get reclaimed. But realistically, until we get back out of this range, very likely we continue lower. Possible to cycle the whole range all the way down to 38K. Just got to bring that up. 39K is our 2-year key level. Once again, anybody looking at this as a bear flag, you could target there. Regardless, it's just a major area right here. I would really be paying attention, though, to the bottom of the biddy box. And once again, this is the box here. So you can see where that top level comes in at that monthly key level we just talked about. Right. So the monthly key level is right there. Our next level in the biddy box has been met. Right. So this was a weekly naked point of control here that we left on the way up. Came down, already tagged that not once, but twice. So now our next level below that, we've got another key level right below us, once again, that we generated over the time we moved up here, and we just moved up too fast to come back and retest. So quite likely we come down to it, about 42.2, maybe get a little bounce very similar to this, right? And just kind of stair step it down. And the last level in here would be the bottom of the box here, and that is a major naked point of control that we just generated. So that's a major volume target to the downside, essentially. This is also the point of control, which is our natural born target of any range as we go into them. So of our overall range that we're in, this is our point of control anyways. Right below it is the golden pocket, or our 0.618 golden ratio, however you want to look at it. So this is definitely an area to be, paying attention to. And yeah, and at this point, like as well, we did re-enter this range. So unless we really, come down to any of these, we could turn around here. Don't get me wrong. This could totally, bust out of here. We got a little bit of bullish divergence, I think, building up slightly on the 4-hour, which to me, if we did actually pull one of these moves here, where we kind of just come down and stair step it out, right, and actually come down and meet this 42K level right here. And then the RSI kind of comes down as well. We'd be putting in, a decent amount of bullish divergence there, where we could just turn around from this area. So once again, this is a really big area of interest to me. Obviously losing that when we got our lower levels to pay attention for, and then at this point as well, looking for this range to kind of be reclaimed again. So in the short term, these are the levels I'd be looking for. And then we'll really just have to take it level by level at that point, right? So I imagine we're going to get a reaction at this point, so some sort of a bounce, possibly even back up to the range high area. But yeah, this one has got the eyes on it from me at least. So, but like I said, at this point too, come down pretty good amount. Let me do this too, just to kind of show you. It's not a crazy, what's the word here? Geez, pullback, correction, whatever. You even come down to 42K. While it's going to really, it's wrecking the alts, right? This is where everybody's major portfolio is, really. And so this 15% correction out of Bitcoin, drums up, 30-40% pullbacks in the alts. A lot of the altcoins that were running really hard pulled back really hard. ZIL and Waves, right, down 60%, things of that nature. So really just want to pay attention to this area, right? And then coming out of here, basically taking out this range and coming back up, then obviously we'd be looking up from there. But until that really happens, it's 44.4 for now. We got to anticipate these lower levels coming in. One thing that Magic Internet Money points out quite often when he's looking at the Bitcoin price action for the bottom situation, right? As we were kind of looking at this level to kind of be our bottom. One thing we did not have, a couple things, right? You never had that capitulation volume, which, whatever, but we never had bullish divergence on a daily level either to kind of get us out of there. And that's something that does appear on almost any reversal. And when we were talking about this idea here, to see this kind of pulling down on a daily time frame here. Right, we're starting to see even from this low right here, right? We have now, we don't have bullish divergence here, right? So if we were to continue lower back towards this range low, right, this would be your low, this would be your higher low. Maybe we go to the 2-year key level regardless, somewhere, lower on this chart, and the RSI on the daily does actually, manage to make its way down here. Well, then we'd start putting in that daily bullish divergence, which is pretty indicative of the true reversal here. So just something to be aware of there. I think that's something that, could definitely be kind of in the works here at the moment. This would really pull us into the next couple of weeks of downside, unfortunately, as far as that goes. So all that is, just what you should, be aware of, or whatever. You do what you want to do. I'll be aware of it. And even here, right, we're coming up this monthly key level right here, looking for this reaction here. All this can change as well, right? We break through this range high, well, then we're looking up. So it really is just a level by level scenario at the moment. Coming down to these two, just it really does make sense. Coming all the way lower, it doesn't necessarily have to happen. I mean, nothing has to happen, obviously, but yeah, it's just that's what I'm looking for Bitcoin, right? So essentially our line in the sand, very simple idea here. You get back over this yearly key level, and that's the gate to 60K. Is closing daily candle above this level, right? And this little cruise down here, I mean, this could be pretty, this could be also pretty short-lived. We could, come down and clear this out in an afternoon and, start kind of reversing from there. But regardless, the uptrend, right? We're still in an uptrend here at the moment. So this could, even act as our low. It does kind of fit the bill a little here. We pulled up two major targets here. I can't imagine we're not going to come down to this point of control by the way we broke back into this range and have been living in this region, and we're about 3-4% away from it. So, but once again, just something to be monitoring here. You could get a little pump up to this range high. This is the thing, right? Not many people are looking for these levels. And when you're looking at this in a sheer, just, a bear flag and ascending channel, anything like that, if we get this breakup, just as this was kind of your signal right here that we were going pretty low, not pretty low. I mean, this is not a huge correction by any means, but this is, if you're paying attention to Bitcoin, which is what, any altcoin trader or anybody looking to get in altcoins or anything like that, you really have to, identify Bitcoin's areas or what the Bitcoin chart is up to, basically, because, coming into some new alts the other day, as Bitcoin's breaking and closing a daily back in this range, might not have been the move, right? So stuff to that nature. But really want to see how this plays out in this region. It is Friday, so we got the CME closure coming up here in a couple of hours as well. One thing that I was looking at last week as we opened was on the CME gap, not the gap, there wasn't really a gap this week, but on the CME futures chart, we had a weekly pivot that had been generated at the time, and it was not back tested, right? Because we were all the way up here. So we have met that. So there's that. Not that that's anything of huge significance, but at the time, that was kind of an indicator that we would probably come back down to 43.53 over the next week or so. And that has now been met. So that's just one thing to kind of take off your checklist if anybody's paying attention to that. But not by any means, an end all be all to anything really. But that was just kind of an indication when we were up here that it's quite possible to come back down to this level. ETH was another one that basically blew through, right? Had this weekly pivot left here from last week. So that was something I was looking for. Generally, we come back to these within the week, which is very interesting to see play out too. So last night came back down, as you can see, basically touched right on it. I just kind of drew this out as a, that ascending channel, that bear flag thing, as well, just to kind of show like what, the majority are probably looking for. And if this was to break down though, as well as a bear flag, this would actually it just lines up really nicely with, the monthly open here. But generally we have our 2-year key level down here for ETH, which, if Bitcoin came down like 39K, you could see ETH coming all the way back down to its 2-year key level as well. But for now, I'm really just looking for ETH to come back down